What's going on, everybody? What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? How's everybody doing out there today or tonight, actually? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really, really appreciate you guys. I know that I didn't do a live last week, but I am here and I am getting things situated. Shout out to everyone who's joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's gonna be some. It's gonna be a good show. You know, I we're gonna talk about Gene Hackman passing away with his wife and his dog. Very unusual. It could be some carbon monoxide situation there. Then we're going to talk about today was supposed to be a economic blackout day. I want to know if any of you guys, took a part of it and stuff like that, or if you just said forget it, you didn't even know that that was something that was going on in social media. And we're going to talk about Chicago news, or well, not really Chicago news, was one of the south suburbs of Chicago, Dalton, Illinois. The final boss, Tiffany Henyard, she lost her reelection bid as mayor of Dalton, and people are rejoicing with that. And then also, I hopefully, God's willing, have a special guest that's supposed to be coming on. He's running for a district in Brooklyn, city councilman for a district in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights to be exact. My old stomping grounds. Well, I can't even say old stomping grounds because I have family there, so that's my stomping grounds. And we'll see what happens. So hopefully he can come on, and we just we'll see how everything goes. So shout out to everybody, please, as you get in, please like the stream and make comments. Let me know that you're in so that we can continue having this conversation. If you guys have any questions, if the guy comes on and you have any questions, put in the comment section. All right. And so that after I ask my questions on what I want to ask him, I will be able to send it over to you guys as I always do. The viewers will take over the show and we'll be able to ask him questions and go from there. So as you guys come in, please like the stream. Really, really appreciate you guys. I'm getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you, each and every one of my subscribers. I'm telling you, you guys are wonderful, wonderful. The comments that you leave, the engagements that you leave, it's amazing. Amazing. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to salute each and every one of you because you are special to me. You are valuable to me, and I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just as you guys come in, just announce yourself so I know who's in and be able to get this live going. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before I talk about the first subject, which will be Gene Hackman. From what I remember him as Lex Luthor in the Superman movies, and for the movie, I believe it was called Mississippi Burning. But I want to make sure, I don't want to, you know, not remember all the movies, but he has played in plenty great movies. If you guys know any movies that Gene Hackman has played in that you remember, just put in the comment section so that we can be able to acknowledge this man. He died, I believe he was 95 years old, and it's a sad situation, but AP Pete 65, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So like I said, if as you guys come in, please like the stream, and as you continue to watch, if you guys have any questions, hopefully, like I said, hopefully this candidate who's running for city councilman, hopefully he comes on and be able to bless us with his knowledge, and we find out exactly what his platform is and what he thinks he's going to be able to accomplish if he wins city councilman of Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes to get some people in, and we will start the show. Get everything situated here. As I said, guys, as you come in, please like the stream. Really appreciate it. As you like the stream, that really helps me out. Helps the channel grow because more engagement, more people be able to watch. Enemy of the state. Yes, yes, yes. Enemy of the state with Will Smith. I forgot about that. I don't know how could I have forgot about that. One of the best movies with Gene Hackman. Really, really appreciate that movie. That was excellent. Thank you, Nimrod. Really appreciate that. You know, that was a very, very, very good movie. You know, that it makes you think, like thinking looking at that movie and when it came out and looking how things are now, it really makes you think to say, wow, technology has become so advanced that we are pretty much giving our information away and the government knows where we are. Like those were the early stages of GPS, but now look at it. You can literally be located on your phone because this device right here has your location and everything. So we are willingly giving our location away. So that's amazing. Yes, I forgot about that movie, Enemy of the State. Excellent, excellent. All right. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I will start the show and we will hopefully, like I said, the guy comes on. So the first topic of the night, of course, I'm going to discuss, or we're going to try to discuss a little bit of Gene Hackman, and we'll just see how it goes. All right, before I that. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get to it. Wow. Oh yes. Sad. Sad. But I think it's carbon monoxide poisoning. It sounds like it, but we don't know. We don't know. They're gonna do research. They're gonna do investigation. It's just sad. But I mean, 95 years old, lived a good life. My aunt is 95 years old, still kicking and still bothering me. But you know, to live that long, and but this is strange though. Him, his wife, and the dog. And like I said, they said no signs of struggle, no trauma to the bodies. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, they said something about prescription drugs. Like, could they have overdosed together, something like that? That we don't really know. Don't really know. Once they, I guess, do the toxicology report, and they figure all that stuff out, we'll probably have a better understanding. But I think that I'm leaning towards carbon monoxide. But as they said, the firefighters came. They said they didn't test it when they did their test. They didn't see it in the air. But as the person said, that it could have dissipated, and they don't know. Sad, sad. But 95 years old. He had a good life. Good life. It's a lot of people pass away and they never are found. There's a lot of people out here who doesn't have his fame and notoriety, and they just wither away. So I'm glad that he was found, but I want to know definitely what was the cause of death, and so that we can be able to figure it out. But it's a sad situation, but like I said, he lived a good life, and we just see what happens from there. We find out exactly what's going on. But only time will tell, and as they do their investigations, we'll find out. Let's get to some of the comments, see what my wonderful viewers have to say. Hey Kai, how you doing? How's everything? How's everything? Yeah, yeah, Gene Hackman, yeah, it's sad. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. What is your favorite movie of from him? For me, of course, mine are the Superman movies. Okay. And then I would say Enemy of the State was up there with the Superman movies. I have so many. You know, it's it could be. Well, I mean, it could be murders. Well, the thing is that there was no trauma on the bodies, so there was no gunshot wounds. There was no whatever. I mean, like once they do the toxicology reports, they'll see what was in his system and what were in all three systems, because remember, it was him, then it was the wife, and then one of their dogs. That they said they had three dogs. So like I don't know, it's weird, very, very weird, very, very weird. Yeah, Enemy of the State was a very, very good movie. My favorite part of that movie, and I remember when, like, we of course they had VHS and well, DVDs and stuff like that. But at the time it was VHS. And I remember seeing the commercial. I could picture it now, when the commercial of the movie came out, and it was Gene Hackman and Will Smith driving, and Will Smith asked him, "Oh, why did you blow up the building?" "Oh, because you made a phone call." I was like, "Wait, what?" As a young guy, I was like, "You blew up a building because of a phone call? What type of foolishness is that?" But like, it's parts of that movie. And it was so many great parts in that movie, so many great parts. The Firm. Oh, okay, okay. Like it's oh god, he was a great actor. He was a great actor. I just like, I'll be honest with you. The Superman movies, especially the first one, when like him just being like a rich, regular person, and as Superman, this superhuman, and him trying to figure out ways to destroy Superman, it made me say to myself, I might one day want to be like one of them billionaires that control the world or something like that. And especially like with the part where when he had controlled the nuclear missiles, and like his secretary was like, "Oh, I have family in California," and he just looked at her and just went like this, like, you ain't gonna have no more family once that nuclear bomb hits. And I was like, it just made me crack up. And as a kid, yes, I wanted to be Superman, but also I wanted to be, as a, hey, if I'm a regular person, I want to be able to control stuff. That was just how I like it. But I always appreciated the way that he did things. Superman 3, it was okay, but 1, 2, and 4 was the movies that I liked. But yeah, but it's a sad day, but hopefully, like I said, hopefully they find out exactly how him and his wife and the dog perished, and we just go from there. It's just crazy, just crazy. But how was your week, Kai? How was everything? I know last week I wasn't on, but you know what happened? How have you been the past 2 weeks? Get some water. Pretty uneventful. Huh? I hear that. I hear that. P65 and Nimrod. How was your week? You know, my week. Well, I this job that I have, I've been doing a lot of I would say overtime and stuff where I work in the morning and then I work in the evening. And it's pretty good. It's not something that's stressful, but I figure that it's best for me to do it because hey, I need to get in Chicago. Yeah, oh yes. Oh, let me tell you. So my daughter, she is so funny. So while I was in Chicago, before I even came to Chicago, she asked me, she was like, "Oh, Daddy, can you please put certain games on your phone?" I said, "All right, cool." So she asked for this game called Toca Boca. Then she asked for Strawberry Shortcake and some let me see, Bluey games, stuff like that. So she asked for all these games, and as putting the games on, I didn't know that these games, were kind of pricey. So, all right, cool. She's playing the games and everything, and they only give you like 2 levels unlocked, and the rest you got to pay for behind a paywall. So she playing the games and everything, and she's like, "Oh, Daddy, I want to get this one. I want to get that one." So I keep downloading new games. Like she had one the Strawberry Shortcake, Hello Kitty, okay, and it was fun. We had lots of fun. We had popcorn, breakfast, and everything. And she loves noodles, like cup noodles and stuff. So she was telling me, "Oh, can you make that and stuff like that." We had a good time. We had a very good time. But she was very sad when I had to leave and stuff, but she's cute and she's growing, and she is reading a lot, a lot. I mean, I was reading the ingredients to something that I was making, and she was sounding it out, and I was like, wow. I said, okay, you're doing your thing, doing your thing. Now the tickets, it depends on the day and how far back you get it. So on average, I fly Southwest. So like the cheapest I've ever paid for a ticket was like $80 one way. So it was about like 160. Excuse me. It was like 160 for both the tickets. Uh right now the tickets are a little expensive because you have spring break is coming up and stuff like that. So the tickets are getting up there. So there's about like $300, close to $300. But like I said, you can get some tickets on sale, especially if you buy it early. You can get it for about 160. I would say, let's say $200. And that's with Southwest. There's other carriers. JetBlue, I've seen it for about $200 round trip and stuff like that. And with JetBlue, you could choose your seat. Southwest, they have an open seating policy. So if you've never flown Southwest, you have to understand that 24 hours before your flight, you have to check in. So if your flight is at 9:45, you need to be on that app and you need to be waiting. Once it says 9:45, you got to quickly hit the button so that you can get a good seat number. So or good what they call boarding number. But because I fly Southwest so much, I have what's called a not is it A list preferred? I believe I'm in A list group, so I automatically, no matter what time I check in, I'm in the A list, which is pretty good. That's one of the first 30 people to board, and so I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, P65. Any minute stay in the firm. Great movies. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yep. So, all right. So, what we're going to do now is 8:22. We're going to get to the next topic that I wanted to discuss, and that was the economic blackout. I want to know if any of you guys, if you guys, took a part of it. Let me know. I I did not buy anything from the major retailers. I did go to McDonald's and get some fries, okay, but nothing from the major retailers. So without further ado, let's get to it.
February 28th, the 24-hour economic blackout. No Amazon, no Walmart, no fast food, no gas, not a single unnecessary dollar spent. For one day, we are going to finally turn the tables.
Maybe you've seen segments like this on your social feeds. This call for an economic blackout has been spreading, and activists are urging Americans to refrain from making any purchases at major retailers tomorrow on Friday. The nationwide protest comes as people continue to endure rising prices on everything from food and gas to housing and utilities. National consumer reporter for USA Today, Betty Lynn Fisher, joins us now from Akron, Ohio, to talk about what this all means. So fill us in. What is the purpose specifically of this blackout?
Good morning. So, this started out as you just saw the video of John Schwartz, who goes by the one called Jay on Instagram. And he says that it just started as a bold idea where he was frustrated and wanted to have consumers take back a day and, take a day starting tomorrow after midnight, and for 24 hours not to shop or spend any money anywhere in person or online, to just try to make an impact on what he calls corporate greed.
Is there any hint or evidence as to how much this is catching on, and which companies? We heard him mention some of them, but which ones are being targeted, and why this date of February 28th?
Yeah, I think he just came up with a date when he was coming up with this bold idea for one day to start with. It does seem that this has become kind of a viral social media movement. There has been a lot of people posting. There are also, in addition to this is the People's Union, is John Schwartz's group. This is kind of their initial one-day boycott. They have since expanded, and they'll be doing some other events too. So for tomorrow, there's not any specific company that is targeted. They have mentioned companies like Target and Walmart and Amazon, but the idea is not to spend money anywhere. But then there are other efforts by the People's Union, as well as other organizations that have been upset with companies such as Target and Walmart and Amazon that have rolled back their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, as well as President Trump's elimination of federal DEI programs since taking office.
Yeah,
So that's one of the main things, the rollback of DEI, which that's understandable. That's understandable. I do feel that they should not have rolled that back. And we as a people, we have to take control over our money, our resources, and let these companies know that, hey, listen, if you want our dollars, you got to do what we tell you to do. Because a lot of people don't know. These are publicly traded companies. So if you really want things to change, if enough of us buy up stocks and have or create changes in the company, we can make forces happen. So that's something that we got to really think about and stuff like that before we do this. Now, I agree with the economic blackout, but only time will tell.
That's something I had seen over the past month, as people voicing ways that they could show frustration from DEI policies being rolled back. Is this likely to have an impact on the economy, though? I mean, one single day of buying things you don't need could be supplemented by buying them on Saturday.
Right. It remains to be seen. I think that it's hard to know whether or not there really is going to be something quantifiable to show data that one day has made an impact, or like you said, that people aren't buying today or aren't buying on Saturday. There are other efforts by this group and others to expand their boycotts. to week long or month long. There are some that are right now indefinitely boycotting Target. There is a call by the religious community to start on Ash Wednesday, March 5th, a 40-day fast of Target, also to protest the DEI initiatives.
Interesting. People trying to figure out different ways of getting their messages heard. Betty Lynn Fisher, great to chat with you about this. Appreciate you waking up with us.
I like that idea. A 40-day fast of Target. I mean, I haven't shopped at Target. When was the last time I shopped at Target? Probably like maybe 2 years ago. So I've been already doing a 2-year fast of Target. Now, Amazon, I love me some Amazon. I'll be honest with you. Uncle Jeff Bezos, he doing his thing. But Target, yeah, okay. McDonald's, I gotta slow down. The McDonald's got this deal where like you buy any size drink and you get any size fries for free. Now, I don't know if maybe they have an overabundance of fries while they have this program or this coupon or something like that, but I've been taking advantage of it, and I got to slow down on that because your boy needs to lose a little bit of weight. But it's not easy. Some people will probably be okay with it, but most people are probably going to say, well, look, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. And if Target is one of the only supermarkets or places near you and you got to eat or you got to buy food, you're going to go there. So I feel that it can be a good thing and a bad thing, but only time will tell. Only time will tell with things like this. For it to be the final day of Black History Month, it's holds something special, of course, with companies they're talking about with DEI or ending DEI, or maybe I wouldn't even say ending DEI. I believe that what some of the companies are doing, they're not calling it DEI, they're reconditioning it and naming it a certain way and stuff like that, so that it won't be explicitly called DEI, but it'll be something where it's like, I would say, let me see. They will camouflage it to make people think that it's not DEI, but it really is. That's just my opinion. But I feel that things will be a little bit better, and we'll just go from there, and we'll see what happens. But only time will tell, guys. Only time will tell. Let's see what you guys have to say in the comment section. Okay. All right. Yes, it is too much temptation out there for real. You're right about that, Nimrod. Right about that. Can't tell too broke to participate. I hear that. That's why I be going to McDonald's. I'm like, listen, they got any size fountain drink for $1.49, and you can get a free fries. I'll get a large fries and call it a day. But especially when I was in Chicago, my daughter, when I picked her up from school, that's the first thing she asked for. Daddy, are we going to McDonald's? So I get some fries? All right, no problem. I'm gonna tell her no. Man, please. But that's how it is. That's how it is. It's I feel that whoever took a part of it, kudos to them. But just have to look at only in NYC. Yeah, well, yeah, because in NYC it's 149, but in Chicago it's 199. I like every state is different. I know California could be a little more. In Hawaii, definitely it'll be more. So and then Alaska too, it'll be more in Alaska. But we just have to see. We have to see. Definitely. I'm looking to see. Right? But yeah, but how do you guys feel about this one? P65, did you take part of it? Nimrod, did you take part of the economic blackout? And To anybody else who's on, I really appreciate you guys. Please like the stream, and you can put in the comment section that you're here and stuff like that. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for joining. Really, really appreciate you. But yeah, so it's really, 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 it's really, really good. But like I said, only time will tell. We'll see what happens. Well, yeah. Even if people shop another day, the message would be understood. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I feel that if they know that you have self-control where one day you don't shop and we have that power, they will think twice. They would think twice. I agree 100%. 100%. Like I said, I didn't buy anything from the major retailers, but 160, 162, that's how much I spent. I ain't really gonna make a dent in anybody's pockets. That's good that you took part. Very, very good. Gas is right now, I believe I saw it, if I'm not mistaken, was it $3.91? I believe I saw it for $3.91, if I'm not mistaken. Either $3.91 or $2.91. I'm not very sure. If it was $3.91 or $2.91. I think it was $3.90. I think it was $2.91, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. I think it was $2.91. Let me just so that I will be able to make sure. Let me just look at it real quick. Because since I rent cars, I just pretty much go for the cheapest gas I can get. I try not to rent any premium cars. I just try to rent a car where I can put 87 and that's it. Yeah, so on average it's 316, but I passed the gas station that I usually go to and it was 291, not 391, it was 291. I wish I can get some like had a car that could run off an E85, but it is what it is. 569. Oh dear God. Whoa. 569. That's crazy. But why would it be so high? Is it because of the taxes? Like that's wild. I thought New York taxes was high, but 569 in LA, and that is wild, Kai. How are you making it? How are you making it for real? That's crazy. Wow, that's mind-boggling for real. I'm sorry for laughing, but that is mind-boggling. Wow. Yeah, for real. Will give you congestive heart failure. Yes. My goodness. No wonder people got to be making like $150,000, $200,000. That's crazy. Unbelievable for real. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. So now I see why teachers out there in California, they make good money. I recently did a video of two seniors who stole like their dead mother's or mother-in-law's teacher pension and was doing it for about how many years? I think it was like 13 years or so. And like they got paid like over $1 million, $1.1 million. Like crazy. For real. Yeah. They do. I was thinking about teaching out there, but then I looked at the cost of living. I was like, nah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Yes, then right. Walking in buggies will return. So listen, I walk everywhere. I walk over. Now I take the bus because if it's real far, I'll take the bus. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, they were too old for that. I was like, this is shenanigans. I was crying. I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that these two people here, their mom died. Nobody knew that the mom died, or the teacher pension people didn't know the mom died, kept sending checks to the mom account. How they had access to the account. What one of them had to be on the account as well for them not to close the account. So they're sending the letters, forging the signature. And I'm like, yo, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, Georgia, come on now, come on. Yeah, but that was crazy. That was crazy. I was shocked. I was shocked. But you can never put it past people on what they will do because they want some money. Because it's getting hard out here. It's getting hard out here. I could understand. I could understand why they did it. Because let's be honest, if you're looking at over $1.1 million in 13 years, let's just say that's about $90,000 per year in teacher pension. So you gotta think and say, well, hey, look, I mean, what I might be tempted too if I'm old and like, hey, I don't want to have a messed up retirement. I might think about it. And when they put me in jail at 87 years old, I'm like, I'm gonna die anyway. So okay, whatever. It is what it is. But what I'm gonna do is, speaking of Chicago, I have some news out of the south suburbs. Where my daughter lives, she doesn't live too far from the south suburbs, but our friendly neighborhood, wonderful, crazy New Jack City type mayor, Tiffany Henyard, has lost her reelection bid. Now, am I happy that she lost? A little, but I feel that it was bound to happen with all the shenanigans that she was doing, with all the crazy news from things that happened in Las Vegas and everything. It was bound that they were going to make sure that she is out of here. So, without further ado, let's get to this news feed here. Oh, wait, let me do two things before I forget. And let me get a cup of some water. All right, guys, let's get to it.
In the meantime, very different scene at what was supposed to be Tiffany Henyard's watch party.
WGN's Ben Bradley has her message following the defeat.
Tiffany Henyard was a no-show for her election night party after it became clear that she would lose in a landslide. I did speak with her by phone. She said she accepts the election results. She said, the people have spoken and God must have a different plan for me. It was a far cry from the tone that she struck earlier in the day when she insisted that she would win in spectacular fashion.
Hey, y'all. Hello. Hey, Tiffany. How y'all doing?
Tiffany Henyard defiant on this decision day in Dalton. Is there anything in hindsight that you would have done differently over these last 4 years?
Yeah, I would have told on the trustees sooner.
The trustees she refers to are her former allies. 4 years ago, they ran as a slate with Henyard promising transparency and accountability. Instead,
Mayor, we've left you voicemail messages. We had to go to the Illinois Attorney General's office to get you to turn over documents.
Residents got a self-proclaimed super mayor who spent tax dollars on travel,
Sad.
self-promotion, and a questionable cancer charity. All of it exposed by WGN Investigates, and now the subject of an ongoing FBI investigation.
But why should residents pay for you to stay at the Four Seasons and a $10,000 bill in New York?
We're talking about
first-class
the
travel.
election today. So you guys want some good
Those
footage,
issues are
some
on
good
the
things from me?
ballot.
We've been talking about the same thing for 4 years. I've answered every question possible.
You've never answered
So if you guys want to talk about me winning this seat this evening, let's go. I'll sit down with any of you. I want some positive press for a change.
Guys, I just have to say this. if you ever, well, I mean, she's going to be gone, but I drive through Dalton when I visit my daughter, and she is everywhere. She's on big posters and everything, and she just looked like a final boss. And she's like, I thought at one time I thought she was governor because I was like, yo, she's everywhere. Almost like every light post you see a sign of her. And I'm like, this is crazy, crazy. But this is how she was running to make us millennials look bad, man. Because I believe she's just like 42 years old.
Local Democrats refused to slate Henyard for her other job, Thornton Township supervisor, but she told me that she plans to run as a write-in candidate. That election is April 1st. She also said she's not ruling out a run for higher office, but wouldn't speculate about what that could be. She could, though, have bigger problems if the ongoing FBI investigation leads to charges. In Dalton, Ben Bradley, WGN News.
Yeah, she's done. She's done. She is right now, she's the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and she is what's called Thornton Township Supervisor. And she's done. She's done. They already ousted her with that. Well, she can't run again. Well, she could as a write-in candidate, but she, lost that situation there. And then now with her losing her reelection bid as Thornton's mayor, she's done. She's done. I don't think that the people are really going to trust her. I had high hopes when I found out that she won in 2021. I really, really thought that she was going to do good. I was like, oh, she's a millennial, this, that, and third. But the shenanigans started to occur. And it was very, very weird. The things that she would do. Like, next time I go to visit my daughter, I'm going to get one of the magazines, one of the Thornton Township magazines. She's on the front cover of like every single magazine that she sent out to the people of the Thornton Township or Dalton. She's on the front cover looking like a boss like this. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then when you open up the magazine, like every other page is about her. It's about her, like real, like narcissist tendencies. And it's just crazy. Like I did a video probably like, I think it was maybe 2-3 months ago, where she owed a lady that she was renting out a place to in Dalton, owed her rent. Lady had to take her to court. I don't know. I don't know if she paid it up or stuff like that, but it's crazy. Crazy. But I don't like it when politicians, especially politicians who look like me, do foolish things, because it just makes people not want to trust politicians even more. But she was just a sad, sad case, a sad case. And as I think about it, I am glad that she lost. Let the person, I believe his name is let me see exactly who defeated. Let me real quick. Who defeated Tiffany Henyard? Okay, let's see. Jason House. His name is Jason House, and he's a decent guy. He's a decent guy. He's a trustee as well, and for her to say that, oh, I should have told on the trustees. No, you should have just never been doing anything crazy. Should never been doing anything crazy. And because of her craziness, that's the reason why she lost. Simple as that. Simple as that. But let me hear what you guys have to say about this one. Hey, Skitlanta, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate you. Let me tell you some guys. Skitlanta is growing very, very well. I love her channel. I love the things that she talks about. It's always, always informative. I really, really appreciate her. She is doing her thing, and it makes me so proud to see how us smaller YouTubers are growing, and YouTube is somewhat pushing us a little bit. So that's good. I'm so happy for her, and continue growing, continue being on some of these scam artists next, because some of the things that's putting out there is crazy from some of these YouTubers. It's just it's just ridiculous. So continue to be on their next. Really appreciate you. Oh yes, Nimrod. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And it's sad because I had so much high hopes for her. So much high hopes. Everybody did. But it was just wow. It was just wow. For real. Kai, for real. I ain't gonna lie, but I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. But it did. That weave told me everything. I was like, oh man, because some of the things that she put on. You know what? Let me see if I could find. Let me see if I could find when she dressed up as Nino Brown. Let me see if I could find it. It was so crazy. I said, you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Let me see if I could. All right, let me. Oh God. Okay. All right, I have it right here. So I'm gonna pull it up. Yes, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Oh, yeah. You had me cracking up with the video that you made of DD. I was like, no, this is wild. This is wild. I really appreciate you for real. So let me share with you guys this thing right here. Let me pull up the. Let me see if I could make it a little bit bigger so that you guys can. All right. So let's see. Illinois mayor shuts down local businesses that don't contribute to her campaign, dresses like a movie gangster. So this was last year, right? And that's her, and with her shenanigans. But it says here, Mayor Tiffany Henyard attends meetings dressed as a movie gangster, and her constituents say she plays the part, retaliating against them unless they do her bidding. The Post revealed. Now, mind you, this is 2024 now. Okay, so now is it Henyard channeled drug kingpin Nino Brown from 1991 gangster movie New Jack City at a 2023 gathering, and ensemble meant to intimidate her critics claimed this week. People look at politics like a joke. It's like a mockery right now because of all this stuff. Village of Doty trustee Kiana Belcher told the Post. She comes to board meetings dressed like Nino Brown. During one meeting, Henyard 40, dressed in the ensemble, signaled for a DJ to blare Rihanna's "Bitch Better Have My Money" as she shade around the room to underline a point she was making. Sources say. Now, let me go down and look. This is her. This is how she was dressed. This is how she was dressed. I was like, nah, you gotta be kidding me. And she thought this was a joke. And I'm like, nah, when I heard this, like I said, this was 2023. When I heard this, I was like, nah, it can't be. Can't be. No, nobody will be crazy enough to do this, but she is. Or she was. Got the chain, got the hat. And I'm like, it's wild. Wild. Let me see if there's anything. That's him. And that's her. Like, what in the world was she thinking? But she a narcissist. She felt like, hey, I could just intimidate people and not care. Let me see if they got any other pictures of her. Now this is her when she was all about herself, for real. And the thing is, like in this picture right here, she's not a bad looking woman. She's not a bad looking woman. It's when I go to Illinois, I go to Cracker Barrel, because Cracker Barrel is in Indiana, because where my daughter live is like probably a 10-minute drive from where my daughter live. I you know, if I was single and she was single, I would take her to Cracker Barrel. I would take her to Cracker Barrel, but it's crazy. It's sad. Very, very sad. So this is some of the things that she do. Post herself everywhere and stuff. Just made she did. I would say that she did put Dalton on the map, but put Dalton on the map for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. For real, for real. It's just crazy. Just crazy. You know. Yeah, that's her. I mean, she was not in my opinion, not a bad looking woman, but just sad, just sad, just sad, you know. Who elected her? The people. The people of Dalton. Dalton elected her mayor, and the people of Thornton Township elected her to be the Thornton Township supervisor. And the thing is that I, I don't know what she said. I didn't go there in the meetings, but it had to been wild for her to just pull the okey doke, the supreme okey doke for real. Yeah, she is a wild one for real. I'm like, oh gosh, she make us millennials look bad. Like when I ran for city councilman, I ran for city council. I was 27 years old, and if I was elected, I probably would have been the second youngest city councilman ever to be elected. And I knew back then that I couldn't do the young people shenanigans. And when it comes to politics, you have to be very mature. And like it's just sad. So sad. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it how crazy it was, you know? That said brothers will cause you to commit suicide. You are too easy going. Forget you. But maybe. But I listen. One thing about me, I'm an easygoing person, but I'm not with the shenanigans. I will quickly say, listen, you know what? It's time for us to go. And I would just drop her off. And it's sad because she's a decent looking woman. It's just shenanigans, man. Shenanigans. It pains me when I see my sister's doing some crazy stuff. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Not even I could understand if she did some wild stuff and it was like her second term where she can't run again. Like you could wait to that. Don't do it during your first term looking like a fool. Do it in your second term. That's when most mayors would do some wild stuff. All right. If it's term limited, if the area has term limits, they'll be like, all right, cool. I'll do some wild stuff during my second term because they can't vote for me again, whatever. But she did not wait. She got elected and said, all right, cool. I'm the biggest boss that they've seen thus far, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And that was it. Just crazy. Just crazy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I am well, am I shocked? No, because she's a millennial. Us millennials, depending on like our upbringing, we could be wild. We could be wild. And the younger generation, like the Gen Z, now I see why some of these congressmen and senators, they don't want to retire because they're afraid of what us millennials and the Gen Zers would do. But they're gonna have to go somehow, or some way, because like Mitch McConnell, he's about to retire finally. But some of these old people, they need to get out of here and let the young people step up. Let the world see more Tiffany Henyards. And it'll be crazy, but it is what it is. It'll work out. It'll work out. That's how I look at it. But I was surprised to see what happened because, like I said, I had high hopes for her, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm trying to see if the person that I was supposed to interview, we were supposed to link up, but I don't think that he's available. So that's okay. I can turn the show over to the viewers. And guys, if you have any articles that you want me to go over, any topics that you want me to find videos, or if you have videos that you want me to go over, I will definitely go over. Please like the video as you come in. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you. So maybe he'll come on, but if not, the show must go on. So I will turn it over to you guys and we'll just go from there. Hold on, let me do this. All right. All right, guys. So, like I said, if you guys have any articles or any topics that you want me to talk about or we could discuss, let's have fun and let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It's amazing to know that I have a community on this platform. Really, really appreciate each and every one of you guys. This is not easy. It's not easy to make videos, especially if you're not monetized and stuff like that. At times you don't see the monetary benefit, but how I look at it is that my benefit, knowing that I have a family, a growing family on this platform, and knowing that in due time, no matter how long it takes, I will eventually be monetized. I know that to have you guys here with me and as you guys continue to enjoy the videos that I put out, I really, really appreciate you guys. I really do. And I do it for you guys because I love you and I care about you. So let's talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, any topics that you find, whatever's on your mind, let me know, and we could definitely talk about it. Okay. No, actually, the weather in New York City has been wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I am shocked to see like how mild it has been. Like today, it got up to 53 degrees, which because I have a winter coat, and it was very, very mild. Tomorrow is going to be even nice too. 57 at on a February in a February. Well, tomorrow is going to be the first day of March, but February, March, well, January, February, March is usually the coldest months in New York. And for it to be, 53, 57 degrees, it's going to be, it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, Sunday is going to be cold, but no snow in the forecast. No snow in the forecast. And I'm going to look up the Weather Channel. Over the next 14 days, we only have 1, 2, 3 days that possibly of rain, and that's going to be very, very good. And it's only, let me see, yeah, it's only 2 days where it would be rain, where it's like going to be, I wouldn't say significant rain, but it's going to be like either all day, and that's something that's, in my opinion, that's very good. Yeah. Oh yeah. what's the right now? What's the temperature? You said that it's been warm there. What's the temperature there in California in Cali right now? Right? What do you think? What do I think about the latest bill passed by the House? Very good question. Very good question, Nimrod. Thank you for that question. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you guys. All right. Now, I don't like the Trump tax cuts, and it's reasons. I have my reasons for it. The reason why I don't like the Trump tax cuts is because of the way that they messed up the W-4. Now, those of us who've been working for many, many years, I've been working since I turned 17. I've been working a full-time job, 2002, 2003. I remember when the W-4, you had simple lines which told you exactly how to fill it out. Fill out, had a household, this many dependents, all this stuff. Right. Now, when they issued out the Trump tax cuts, they made the W-4 into something much smaller. And you know what? So that I can better show you guys. I'm gonna pull up a W-4 so that you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm gonna pull it up. That way, you can be able to better. Let me see if I should do it this way. Yeah. All right. So this is a W-4. I'm going to let me try to see if I can enlarge it. All right. So this is a W-4, right? Of course, employee withholding certificate. Now, with the W-4, guys, it explains how much your jobs are supposed to withhold from your income. So now, you fill it out, basic information, the second, third, and most times, this right here, step 2, multiple jobs or spouse works. This used to be, real simple how you figure it out in the old W-4 forms. Okay, now if you have multiple jobs, you definitely need to click it because they're not going to take out enough from your taxes. A lot of people end up owing at the end of the year because they withhold a lot less than what they're supposed to. Right now, it says here, claim dependents and other credits. It said if your total income will be $200,000 or less, multiply the number of qualified children under age 17 by 2,000. Right? Okay, so now you have these things right here. Here's the problem with that. So let's say you file head of household. And the old way, they used to take out enough where it used to be like, let's say 15 to 20% taken out of your taxes when it comes down to for federal, and then you have state and local taxes. Now, you file head of household, if you file married filing jointly, they would probably take out 5%, 7%, maybe even just 10%. Now, if you a person that's making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, 10% of your taxes is not enough. Reason being is we're under a progressive tax code. The more you make, the more you pay. So if they only take out like 8,000 and you're supposed to pay them 10,000, guess what? At the end of the year, you got to pay the federal government $2,000. But you're probably thinking that, wait a minute, why would I owe you $2,000? I had this withholded out of my check. No, they didn't withhold the correct amount. So you have to understand how much taxes you're supposed to pay. And one of the things that you can easily do is to definitely fill this out properly, because it's only one page. It used to be 2 pages. It used to be 2 pages, and you had like for your dependents that you can be able to, or your dependent exemption was like $4,000 and stuff like that. So they kind of made it very weird. But then you have that, and then if you're trying to figure out your income tax rate, let me see if I could yes, there we go. Here's the website. You guys need to go to this website right here. I'm gonna do Cali because our friend Kai is in California. So let's say if you make $80,000 in California, and just a single person, right? You would have to pay in taxes $15,561. But here's the thing now. Here it says here your federal taxes, your marginal tax rate is 22%, your effective tax rate is 11.8. You have to pay $9,441. But if you're making $80,000 and they only take out $8,000 in federal taxes, guess what? You now owe $1,441. It used to never be that way. Never. When I looked at my my W-2, and I said, wait a minute, this is strange. They didn't take out enough taxes. I ended up having to pay. Why? Because they didn't withhold enough taxes. And I asked the job, I said, why in the world didn't you withhold enough taxes? They said, oh, well, under the Trump tax cuts, they changed the withholding amount. I said, that's crazy. So if you don't know how much you're supposed to pay, you could be, crap out of luck. Of course, you got to pay FICA, but then, and goodness gracious, Kai, yes, California got some crazy tax rates, 9.3. That's wild. But still, if you're making that and you live in decent in Cali, that's good. But this is something that you guys have to be very, very careful about. Very careful, because the bills that they have now, they're extending it, or they want to extend the Trump tax cuts. It's going to cripple the country. It's going to cripple the country, and that's just my opinion of it. It's not something that I feel is going to really be beneficial. And the thing that they want to cut spending. Me personally, as an independent, I feel that yes, there's certain things that they should cut, but then firing people, no, I do not agree with that. I do not agree with that at all. At all. This Doge thing that they talking about, trying to find where to cut and how to save money. The federal government is an entity that really and truly, like, saving money is not something that it can really, really do, because we live in a society, or we live in a country where not only where the federal government can borrow money from us, because a lot of people don't know that the American people is the largest debtor or debt servicer of the American government. Okay, through T-bills and all types of stuff. You have businesses, American businesses, that owns it. A lot of they talk about, foreign governments own American debt. That's not necessarily the case. They own a significant amount. I believe it. Last time I checked, it was about 7 trillion. But the majority of the other, because I believe it said 35 trillion. So you're looking at $28 trillion is owned by us. So we have a lot of power. They just don't want us to think that we have the power, and it's very, very sad, very, very sad. But we'll see what happens. I think that it's not going to really help the American people. It's going to help him and his businesses and his business partners, especially Uncle Elon. It's going to help them, but I feel that he pulled the wool over our heads. That's just my opinion to it. Let's look at some of the comments. Yeah. That's good. That's excellent. That's been warm there. Excellent. I wish it was 70, 80 degrees. But see, that's the thing though. If it's 70, 80 degrees now, it could be like what 100 degrees in the summertime. I can't get with that. I can't get with that. Oh, excellent, excellent. I will definitely let me try to I'm gonna try to click it, but let me see if I can make a copy. I'm trying to get to your article there. All right, you know what? I know what I have to do. Let me go to, because I'm on StreamYards. I'm using StreamYards. But what I'll do is I will go to be able to see the comment or highlight the comment. I have to go to my YouTube studio. So let me do that. And I'll be able to all right. All right, perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that article. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right. So I'm gonna go and get that article here. Okay, yes. I was just about to say 48 degrees. I was wondering if you're in Florida, like 48 degrees in Florida. That's crazy. Maryland. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I told you guys that I was gonna be a police officer in Baltimore. Oh, I went and took the exam. The exam was easy to me. It was easy. And then I did the physical thing that they have. And I passed that, barely passed it because I barely did pass the running, and then I passed the handgun thing, but then the push-ups or the sit-ups, I barely passed the sit-ups, but the push-ups part, the guy had his hand, and I had to go all the way down, and I'm like, I'm trying to do the push-ups, and he's like, "Oh, you're not touching my hand. You're not touching my hand." I was struggling at that time. I was only able to do like 25 push-ups. Now I could do about like 40 push-ups and stuff like that, but it was just crazy. Jumping. Yes, he is running on Reagan's policy. He's doing a little different, but that's the blueprint he's following. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Definitely. Yes, it is cold there. Oh yes, Tacoma Park. Yes, Maryland is beautiful. I wouldn't mind teaching in Maryland. I wouldn't mind teaching. It is a beautiful state. It really is. Really is. You know, what they sucker punch you in Cali? That's crazy. That's crazy for real. For real. You got to be careful. Got to be careful. You know? Oh wow, that's crazy. Skitland, that's crazy. My daughter was one of the federal employees that will no longer have a government job. I told her try to find another one while you're still being paid with the severance pay. That's crazy. So sad that they're doing this. So sad for real. For real, for real. That's crazy. Now, Skitlander, question. Was your daughter like remote work or something like that? Like why like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why they had to resign? That's so sad. For them to be forced to resign, that's crazy. Unbelievable. Yeah, Trump. Trump is really he pulled the okey doke, the supreme okey doke. I mean, I'm shocked. Well, actually, no, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. Okay. I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen like this crazy. You know, it's just ridiculous, just ridiculous. But I hope that she can find something while she's getting her seventh pay. Hopefully, she gets seventh pay for like at least 6 months or something like that, and be able to just do what got to be done. All right, just sad, just sad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share this article here. Thank you so much, Kai, for sending this article. Let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see. All right. Goodness gracious. Bank accidentally credits customer with $81 trillion instead of 280. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. One of America's biggest banks accidentally transferred more than $80 trillion to a customer's account after a fat finger input error by an employee. That's messed up to say it's a fat finger. Oh man. Citigroup, one of America's big four lenders, erroneously transferred $81 trillion to their account in April last year instead of the 280 requested because of a keyboard mistake by a bank staffer. The huge sum, worth more than 20 times Britain's entire gross domestic product, GDP, was approved after being checked by two of the bank's employees. What? So you're telling me two bank employees checked it and they still sent it out before being sent to the customer's account the following morning? The payment was only flagged after a third employee noticed a problem with the Wall Street Giants' overall balances. 90 minutes after the payment between two separate city accounts had been made. Wow. Thank God it was in-house. Can you imagine if they made that transfer outside? That money would be gone. It's true. You send that money to me, some of that money gone. Forget that. Citi successfully reversed the transaction a few hours later with no funds actually leaving the lender's coffer, as 81 trillion transaction was between two of the bank's own accounts. Yeah. A Citi spokesman said, our detective controls promptly identified the inputting error between two Citi ledger accounts, and we reversed the entry. Our preventive controls would have also stopped any funds leaving the bank. Okay. All right. The bank's spokesman added that a payment of this size could not actually have been executed. The Wall Street Bank subsequently reported the near miss to watchdogs, including the Federal Reserve and the Office of Controller of the Currency. Citi had $2.4 trillion in assets on its balance sheet in the third quarter of last year, according to its most recent financial statements from October 2024. The investment bank previously found itself at the center of 10 near misses in 2024, in which it mistakenly approved transactions worth $1 billion or more. That's crazy. The figure marked a drop from a total of 13 similar incidents in 2023. Oh, okay. All right, cool. 30% drop. That's good. Citi said the near miss highlights the need to strengthen its own risk controls and automate more of its processes, in line with plans set out by Jane Fraser, its chief executive of 2022. Citi was previously fined $400 million by the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which regulates America's top bank, over the bank's poor risk controls. That's crazy. It came after Citi accidentally transferred $900 million to cosmetics company Revlon in a mistake that subsequently led to a protracted legal battle. Citi's erroneous payment to Revlon also led to the ousting of the bank's former chief executive, Michael Corbett. Ms. Fraser has said fixing Citi's risk controls are a top priority. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What if you guys, let me ask a question. What if like $1 million was like just deposited into your account and you saw it there and you said, all right, cool. You know what? Maybe it's a mistake, and you let it sit. And it's like 3 days. Still that $1 million in your account. What would you do? Would you take some money out? Would you tell the bank that, hey, this is not my money? I don't know where it came from. Or would you withdraw all the money and then try to quickly do something with it because you know you're going to go down for robbing the bank because the money is not really yours. What would you do? What would you do? Me? I would leave the money. I would tell because I don't got time to go to jail. I'm not no Bernie Madoff. All right. Bernie Madoff was old when he went to jail. I'm young and I don't got time for no bank fraud and wire fraud or possibly mail fraud. And I'm in jail for 20 years over $1 million. Nah, within 20 years, I can make that million. And I'd rather be free and make that million instead of me being in jail and they asking me every day, where's the money? And I'm not telling them. Nah, I'm not. And then the thing is that they'll be able to see like where I transferred the money to and stuff like that. So I'm like, nah, no. And even if I transfer the money to somebody else, they could go after that person. So I'm not going to drag people into my shenanigans. Nah, so no. Nope. But, you know, want to hear what you guys have to say. You know? Right. And while they cut Medicaid and kick families off food stamp, farm work will be forcefully offered. True. You're right. In the bill, it did say that they wanted to cut spending. Sad. I hope that they don't really cut Medicaid spending because people are getting older and there's a lot of people who need Medicaid. All right. Kicking the family off for food stamps, same thing. I don't agree with that at all. At all. People need to be able to eat, but they're going to try to force people to work. I know that they said what they wanted to do or what they hope to do is to have a work requirement for single people who gets Medicaid or who gets food stamps. So you have a work requirement. What type of work they're going to be doing? Now, in certain states, you have them still paying minimum wage, which is $7.25. Minimum wage has an increase since 2009. 16 years. If minimum wage was to go up at the rate of inflation, minimum wage would be about $14 an hour. Like, it's sad that minimum wage is so low. It's just crazy. Oh, she was a remote worker, last in, oh, yeah, last in, first out. She didn't make the cut. If there were less than 3 years, then they were the first to go. Wow. Sad. My heart goes out to, it's remote work is good. I love going to school remotely. When I go to get my master's degree in September, I'm gonna do it. Hopefully, I can do it remotely because it's not that I don't like in-person stuff. It's just that if I'm working as a teacher and I'm already tired from that, I don't want to have to come home and then have to leave again to go to school. No, I'd rather do it remote, but sad, very, very sad. Hopefully she can get a similar job. I think that, Kai, I believe that, excuse me, what they plan on doing is maybe subcontracting the work. I'm going to contact Beatrice and see if like they have been issued out any contracts because the federal government will probably issue out more private contracts to people. So, Skalana, I suggest that maybe since your daughter knows a lot about remote work, maybe see if she can open up her own firm and stuff like that and be able to take advantage of some of the private contracts that they're going to be issued out because they're going to have to issue out private contracts if that's what they want to do. They're going to have to issue out that. Okay. There should be a rule if money gets accidentally transferred into. Listen, so you're telling me if $81 trillion gets mistakenly transferred into your account, that you would want to keep that $81 trillion more money than what a lot of governments have combined? So you'll be ruler of like what live in 100 countries. Like, well, if that actually happened, like, well, like, how would you go about it? Because you would have control of the country's money. Right? Yeah, there are so many people losing their jobs. It's wild. It's wild. It's so sad. So sad. I I would recommend the people, if you live in a state where community colleges or state colleges are a little cheaper, go to school, especially go remotely. If you could go and shore up more education, do that. Don't go to any private schools. Stay away from private colleges. Now's not the time. Go to community college, state-owned community college or city-owned community colleges, or go to state public college. Do not go to any private college. Do not take out any debt, no student loans, nothing. Do what you can to pay that off. That's what I did. I went to Medgar Evers College, which is a part of the City University of New York, and my tuition was about $4,000 a semester. And because of my grade point average, they were giving me money for books, so I didn't have to pay anything much for books. I think like maybe $200-300, and the books were expensive. So my tuition was paid for. Majority of my tuition was paid for from Pell grants and from TAP grants from New York State. Like in total, for my 4 years, I think I spent maybe $3,000, and my tuition for over the 4 years was, give or take, let's say $9,000 a year. So that's about $36,000, and I only spent about $3,000-4,000. So I would tell people, please don't go to any private school. Stay away from private school unless you got the money and you want to waste it. Cool, but stay away from private school because it's gonna be difficult, more and more difficult out here. I would transfer that money to another account and be on someone's private jet to the I'll meet for coast. I hear that. Oh, goodness, yeah. Step keep going. $6 to $8 for a dozen. I saw a dozen eggs for $20. Depending on the eggs, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, listen, the error. I mean, if it's like 2-3 million, all right, cool. But $81 trillion, nah. What? $9 a pound for grapes? Isn't California like one of the states that grow the most grapes? $9 a pound for grapes? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. I would not buy that. Oh no. That happened to a friend years ago. He paid back nothing. Where's he now? Is he in jail? Because if you take the money out and not pay and they ask for it back, depending on how much it was. If it was a few $100s, okay, maybe they'll probably just bar him from that bank. And because of that, here's something that people gotta understand. You take money from the bank or you owe money to a bank and you don't pay it, they'll put your name on a list and they'll blacklist you from banks. So when you hear a lot of people, like they'll be like, oh, I need to go cash this check at a cash checking place. Like, yo, why don't you have a bank account? Oh, I can't. Why? Because you owe the bank money. Right? When I was a bus driver, plenty of drivers had to use the nearest check cashing place because they could not have a bank account because they owed money, they overdraft, and they owed money and they didn't pay it back. So I believe if it's under $1,000, they will just ban you until you pay it back. So you gotta be careful. Right? Oh yeah. Hopefully she can either get her job back or get something similar. But it's just sad. $3,000. And they didn't lock him up. Well, they probably won't lock him up, but he had to have been banned from that bank and blacklisted. But if he wasn't, Good luck to him. You know, it was about 400. He spent it. Like, I had a situation where my job, so I know how much when I was a bus driver, so okay, I get paid, and I got paid. I think it was it was like $500, and I had it linked up to my account, and I saw 2 payments of $500. I was like, hmm. I was like, did they owe me a check? That's the first thing I said. I said, no, they don't owe me a check. So I just said, you know what? Let me leave it alone. It came in my account on Friday. It was taken out of my account on Saturday. Now, did I need the money? Yes. Was I going to spend it? I was thinking about it, but because I felt that, well, you know what? It's a payroll error. Let me just leave it be. And I'm glad I didn't, because if I would have spent it, they would try to take it out. They would overdraft my account, and I would have to pay the money back, plus get charged the overdraft fee. Because the bank going to say you knew the money wasn't yours, and they're going to be like, oh, pay me the money. You know, it's crazy. I agree. Yeah, you better leave it alone. You're going to be on what you spent for real. In Brooklyn, all right, okay, Nimrod, all right. Good luck to that person. They probably still owe that $3,000 if they didn't pay it back. They just take it back out. They do. Yeah, said jail's not the way to go for real. Nope. Listen, I don't got time for that. The only way I'm going to jail if somebody mess with my wife or my kids. All right. And maybe my mom and grandma and stuff like that. But I'll just, I'll beat them up. But I'll go to jail over my kids. Okay. But that's no, no, jail. That you're right. Yes, it's not. Especially with a lot of craziness going on out here. Okay. Right. Oh, okay. He was on welfare and claimed that his girlfriend had promised him a gift for his birthday, withdrew and paid back nothing. They took him to court and lost. Really? Really? Okay. Okay. You'll be the ruler of Zamunda. I mean, yes. With $81 trillion, shoot, you can make your own Wakanda. Shoot, you could build up a nice country somewhere. Yes. Finders, keepers, losers. I hear that. I agree. Ruler of trillion oh god, that's a crazy word. Trillion dia. Okay, all right. You making up these new country names. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, I would invest in it and make money, then give it back. Well, yeah. If I had, let's say if I had $1 trillion, and I'm thinking about it, because you make a good point, P65. I would probably put that money in the stock market, in a dividend paying ETF, and I'll wait. They'll be like, oh, you got to pay the money back. I'll pay it back. I'll pay it back. I'll wait 6 months. All I need is 2. Hopefully God bless me that the stock market goes up. But all I need is 2 dividend payments of 1% each. 1% of $1 trillion is what? $10 billion. So if I got 2%, that's $2 billion. I would cash out, give them the $1 trillion, and I'll live off that $20 billion and pay my taxes and be good. I agree with that. You buy 2 grapes, 2 small grapes, and keep it pushing. Do you weigh them? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, look who it is. Grand Miss, what's going on, brother? How are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, you missed out. You missed out a lot, brother. You missed out a lot. All right. Oh my God. Oh, guys, it seems that the candidate that I'm gonna be interviewing is here. Cecil, if you can hear me, wave your hand, brother. Excellent, excellent. I'm gonna put you on the stage, okay? All right, so let me give you a let me do it this way real quick before you come on. I will let me introduce you properly. So, okay, guys. So this guy, his name is Cecil Henry. He is running for city councilman of the 36th district of Brooklyn, New York. It is a district that I fell in love with because I was born and raised there, Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights. He is a business owner and he is looking forward to changing a lot of things in New York City. So I'm going to bring to the stage Mr. Cecil Henry. Cecil, if you have an earpiece or a headphone, so it won't be any echo, if you could put it on, that'd be great. Introduce yourself, brother, and or like when you if you have everything connected, like I have my Bluetooth, where you can see it. If you can connect to it, that would be great.
Hold on.
But I don't really hear any echoes, so you can
do this.
All right. And if you want, because I see that the way that you have your phone, you have it probably faced vertical. If you can make it horizontal, that way they can see you fully.
Oh my God. That, my friend, is going to take some.
It's okay. It's okay. Guys, if anybody in the chat, if you guys are from Brooklyn and you live in the 36th district or anywhere, you guys can ask Mr. Cecil, Mr. Henry questions. So, Mr. Henry, I'm gonna give it to you, and you can introduce yourself, and you can talk about. We can start talking about different policies and stuff. Okay.
Hi there. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the 36th. Welcome to this new election year. A lot of things are at stake. Obviously, for me, it's a question of being able to speak freely. I've seen a lot of things going on in the world, and I'm concerned that our local government is not on tune with what needs to be said. And so here we are, an option to really ensure the freshness of democracy.
I hear
as
that.
opposed to who's brought out, you know. So, yeah.
I hear that. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. All right, let me put this up here real quick. So, Mr. Henry, what is or what was some of the reasons, or what's the main reason why you want to be the leader of the 36th district in Brooklyn? What's the main reason why you want to run or want to
Right.
become city councilman?
Right. I think what we're seeing in the world today with the Congo and the Middle East is a call for leadership, people who are willing to speak and stand up for ourselves in the presence of evil. When you can't speak against genocide, then you are not a leadership that should be in front of me, saying that you speak from my area or where I come from. And I'm concerned that we don't have leadership today that's willing to say such a simple thing. And yeah, that's my biggest concern.
I hear that. I agree. Yeah, there are a lot of politicians are skating the issues. They are afraid because they could lose funding or have someone run against them, and that's something that they don't want, especially if they want to make a career out of politics. Which I
But
feel
that's why
that say that.
exactly why we have the structure is that we wanted to choose strong leadership, not people who would fall weak and become susceptible to corruption or allegedly, or who would not want to represent the best of humanity when it's all done, but waiting for someone else to make decisions for them. That's not why
Yes.
we do the structure. one representing many.
I agree. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. So what I'm gonna do, I want to ask a question. So if you were to become city councilman, how would you help with the cost of living in New York City right now, especially concerning the cost of living in Bed-Stuy or Bedford-Stuyvesant and Crown Heights?
Right. And I think that's where one of the biggest concern is that while the Democrats are currently pointing fingers at Republicans, I remind them that we're currently living in a district that has always been primarily controlled by Democrats. And so they have responsibility to control our cost of living as well, not just blame the Republicans without any means or control. But if I were, one of the things I would do, again, we talked about controlling our tax base and having our tax base being used to lower our cost of living, theoretically, right? If the one thing, the other thing is if I was a small business owner, where would we apply to solar to be able to drive down our cost of living? Exactly where we shop and consume. And so they've had models and designs and solutions in place, but in implementing it to the best of humanity again, because I think for whatever reason, uh, yeah, so I can't wait to ask them the question: why did you cannot implement solar panels on your businesses to be able to
Mhm.
drive down cost of living? Because I think those are one of the solutions. And I guess the
Yes.
question, yeah, sorry.
So in yeah, because definitely in New York, we know that the rent. I missed that guy Jimmy McMillan. Rent is too damn high in New York.
Ah,
Okay, and for a lot of businesses, it's we have situations where a business owner could possibly be spending $10,000 to $20,000 a month in rent, and then having to pay for property taxes on that business as well. So it could be a lot of issues when it comes down to things like that with business owners. But then also you look at like rent right now has gone up crazy, where you have rent in certain areas as high as $5,000 a month for a two-bedroom apartment. Now, do you think the city is doing a decent job with putting out contracts for more buildings to be built up? Do you agree with, and then the second question is, do you agree with the way that the city is allowing more buildings to be built higher up instead of wider? How do you feel about those two things? Do you think that the city is doing
mhm,
a decent job with building, with making more apartments or places to live or affordable living for people? And do you agree that with the city's agenda of building higher than instead of building wider?
right. And I think one of the problem is in the old days, before we even have these conversations, is that most of us didn't know what it costs to operate a city. And
Mm,
when we talk about what it means to finance a budget, I think we as a society have lost understanding of what it means to operate a city. And so they don't even know themselves, I think, what it means to do that. And so if we were to ask the people who are asking us for responsibility of being politicians, the first we should know is like, do you understand the size of the budget and where it is currently so you can understand what it means to act or make decisions against those budgets? That's the first thing, lack of ignorance, total, complete understanding. And I think that'll give us a kind of a better footing of where we need to go. Uh,
okay.
there is the potential for control, because if I can control those costs, then I can say, well, you as an entity of society, show me savings, right? Show me 10% savings. And with those 10% savings, I can then say, well, apply that now back to cost of living. And I can then use that application of savings to then affect the quality of cost of living based on a savings component. But you have to know where your budget is currently. And I think those are things we should consider going forward. More versus going forward. Like I said before, New York City has been the breadbasket of much of, I would argue, the state. And I think they have to begin the process of getting out of our pockets. If we can't put housing in every part of New York State to be able to alleviate housing, then we have a racist problem. And I think that should be addressed given our situation. They eminent domain to build a basketball court. Why can't we eminent domain to be able to afford basic housing? And I think
True.
that's a potential racist problem.
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. And I think that when it comes down to housing, because New York City is not growing, it's growing with people, but it's not growing in size. So for
Or expectation of income.
yeah, definitely. I feel that with New York City, the best thing to do would be for them to continue as they're making buildings to make it big as possible so that you can have more families in it, but also it has to definitely have more affordable housing, because we are in a situation right now where you have a lot of rich people living in New York, but the majority of New Yorkers are not rich. And
But they don't know. But I think it's denial. I think it's really upfront racist denial. If I tell you that you have a system where there's 80% that need affordable housing and 5% that don't care, then who you building housing for, if not for the 80%? But again, they're so in the pocket, potentially one could argue, of the driving corporations for the higher end of the income side that uh, they'll, as far as they're concerned, they don't care about the 80%. And they'll say, well, look, we're
No,
trying to build, but they're building for profit, not for the quality of life or for community. And I think that has to change.
it does have to change, because they're not really building for us. I mean, I've seen more and more luxury housing coming up where the rent $4,000, $5,000, or they're just selling it as condos, and the condos is over $1 million. Why would I pay over $1 million for an apartment? I mean, unless I have it like that,
Right.
I'm
When
worth
you created
$100
it, right,
million.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly. If you created that kind of an economy, then you know that but to drive that economy through your community that's been entrenched is like you're literally waiting for the weight of the system to come right through and take everything you've got, because they're
yeah,
always going to have more. But what did you use to entrench your community or your community? Not a function of equity, nothing. Just like, you know what, the
I
rich will have
agree.
it and they'll stand aside.
I agree. That's good. Excellent, excellent. Another question I have to ask. We know that congestion pricing has been in effect, has been in effect close to 2 months now. And you have a lot of drivers who complain. You have drivers who try to be slick with
Mhm.
license plates and stuff like that. I want to know, as city councilman, what would you do to alleviate the issues that drivers are facing? Because trying to drive around the city, trying to find parking is hard. With congestion pricing going into Manhattan, that's for me non-existent. I don't even go to Manhattan unless it's in a train. So what would you do, or what type of bill would you bring up to help alleviate the people who live in New York City, not people on Long Island and everything. I'm talking about people who in New York City, the outer boroughs, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island. What would you do to alleviate the pressure if they have to go into Manhattan for work? What type of thing would you do to help them be able to, I wouldn't say combat the cost, but to be able to absorb the cost of the congestion pricing?
Good question. I think that creates a huge question in terms of, I guess, political savvy, because obviously we know the haves will haves. That's their expectation, and the have-nots have to pay the cost. And so that then begins the question. So the governor right now is very adamant about this congestion pricing and how it will affect and how it's supposed to be beneficial for the state. But we've seen this before. Raise the price, we take it, we use it, salaries, everything else. But nothing really improves in terms of where we live. And I live in one of those areas that could improve or should see the improvement, but I'm feeling the weight. I'm a driver. I have nothing against people who are energy efficient, so on and so forth. I'm energy efficient, but I currently have to drive. If I wanted to move my food cart, I've got to use a big vehicle that has a motor. So I need a motor. And so they're not considering what it takes for me. So one of the first things I would do for real is to try to figure out again, if it, because they already have things entrenched. How's the MTA using any portion of that money to really alleviate any quality of life issues? They're saying no, we're buying technology, we're going back into the infrastructure for the MTA, and I think that's where they made mistakes. It was a weakness in the pen, I think, and I wish I could go back and reduce some of those expectations and how the MTA is supposed to invest in our community to be able to alleviate some of those stresses. Because right now, there's no expectation that any of that money comes back in terms of improving the quality of the local quality of life. It's just supposed to improve MTA spending on MTA products and services. So that's the first thing I would do. Um, Second thing is in organizing the community. I think there again is if the cost is too high, what's our solution as a local solution to be able to afford transportation to our local communities? I said, if we need to start carpooling for ourselves, that means we're a better society. If we know each other, that's a better society. I know that's difficult, and we're looking to government to be able to provide for those solutions. But given the complexities today, how can we look to each other again to be able to say, what are some of the things I can provide to my fellow neighbors to be able to alleviate some of these stresses? Because left alone, it's not going to be a societal solution. It's going to be the society resolving the problems left by government of the past as we drive towards a better future. And that's exactly what they're doing right now with congestion pricing. They've had money before, but they've never used it to improve our quality of life. And I think that's the thing we should hold them accountable for.
I hear that. I agree. I agree. I do think that, I mean, the way that they implemented congestion pricing, I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea. I just don't like the idea that they forcing everyone to pay the $9 and that window where it's lowered to 275 is just so small. Okay.
Well, then that goes
Because
to their
not
lack of understanding. That goes to who they are in the past, not the poor person who has to get up and down, who has to go down there to do some basic work. Everyone, even their government officials, government
mm,
employees, no one escapes. It is a hard hammer. And as again,
yeah.
that goes to the administration as much as you want to. Someone else is holding their hands and making them do this to individuals and people.
Yeah. I feel like someone mentioned, or it was an article that I read, that they were saying that, oh well, what about the seniors who have to go to doctors in Manhattan? Well, and I understand that because I used to work for Accessoride and I used to drive around, take seniors and people with disabilities to their appointments and stuff, a lot of appointments in Manhattan. And so people are saying that, well, if a person has to drive there, how can they afford that toll? I personally feel they need to take programs like Accessoride so that they don't have to worry about driving. But that's just me.
Yeah, but in completing the task, even if they made that possible, brother, I'm a veteran and I have an
Mhm.
appointment. If I need to go to the VA hospital, it's on 23rd Street. So I don't
Yes,
escape
the
that.
VA hospital on 23rd. Yeah, you won't escape it.
Yeah.
But if you, well,
But
the
government
veteran
never afforded me
hospital,
parking. I paid
yeah,
taxes. Now I got no parking. That's crazy.
it is crazy. If you're trying to go to a veteran, brother, I have experience with at the veteran hospital over there on 23rd Street and First Avenue. If you're trying to drive over there, brother, it's wild. Okay, I would suggest that you take public transportation for that one. But,
Right, but
but
the thing is, who's paid taxes and expects nothing of it? And the thing, if I had the 5 to 10 things I would pay with my taxes, it would be like things like transportation,
mm,
insurance, you know, and for them, it's like they can't even see that list. Like, what do you think we're paying taxes for, if not to improve our quality of life and our? So yeah, I think that needs to be recalibrated,
I,
which goes
I,
back to
I I
the
definitely agree with you, because I mean, if you're paying taxes, you want to have a more quality of life. But I just think that with the congestive price, like I said, it's a good idea. I just feel that it should be, if you live in the 5 boroughs, your the amount of money that you pay on your registered car should be less than the $9. Okay, that's just my opinion of it, because at one time they wanted it to be $15, then they reduced it to $9, and we New Yorkers, we who live in the 5 boroughs or one of the 5 boroughs, we are not paying at a discount, and that's my biggest concern. That I feel that the governor really screwed us up, and we the people didn't have no say in what they're trying to do. But that's just my opinion. But I agree with you that we need to definitely focus more on the quality of life, and we need to figure out how we can be able to get things done. I have one last question before I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful viewers. The question that I have is, if you're elected as city council, if you are running against an incumbent, if you win, how would you work with the other city council members to be able to get things done?
right. I think that's the greater question. I think too often my intent is to get them to understand that we are a greater community combined together um, in this global world. And if there's something going on in the world, first of all, that needs to be said, it needs to be said on the local level first. If not, then it will never get heard. And I'm disturbed that things are going on in the world like Congo and the Middle East, and local communities are not being informed that someone is suffering like us. And then how can we stand against this? Because everyone's going to need this at some point, God forbids. But when it does occur, we all should get together and say, no, none of us should be oppressed. And so that weapon can be turned at any point towards any one of us. And if we don't have leadership that is willing to stand up in front of us and say, look, this is wrong, we need to stand up here for all that is right, just, and towards peace, uh, then they need to be replaced. So the first thing I need to do is understand that the persons and individuals to my north, south, east, and west agree that we all matter, that all life matters, and everyone has a right to life, and not just those uh, who have access to big access to banks and big access of this, and do champagne here and do champagne there. Those people have responsibilities too when someone falls. And so we all have to come together. And that's my biggest concern right now, is that they want to fall silent when there's potential genocide at the table. So
I hear that. I agree. I agree. So working together on that, and issues of not only foreign policy, which is good, and local policies as well. Very, very good. Very, very good, my brother. I really, really appreciate it. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go to some of the comments, and let's get to it. So Kai asks, what is our good brother Cecil's background? So Cecil, I know you said that you were in the military, you are veterans, so let's expand a little bit more, go dive a little bit deeper into your background.
So I have a wonderful experience of being from New York. I went to Thomas Jefferson High School, um, played on the basketball team, starting guard, and then went to college. My initial degrees are in political science. I now have a degree in finance. And I worked on Wall Street, which is where I got a lot of my understanding in terms of how the world works today. Worked for a company called Salomon Brothers. Um, and as a result, uh, after that, went to the Army, served 6 years there, and then came back out and been serving my community since. Um, but again, all those things have helped to shape and inform me in terms of our need for a stronger community.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, Brother Nimrod asks, would you stand up to AI Pac when called an anti-Semite for speaking the truth against genocide?
So, yes, sir. That's a non-negotiable. First of all, they should know what a Semite is, first of all, and I think that's historic. The history of upside down, I call it the upside down history, is for you to have a conversation. One, are we talking about the same peoples? And I understand they want to skate that, but that's the historical moment in terms of understanding who you are versus, Ashkenazis versus a true Hebrew from Timbuktu, from the days of Ethiopia. You know what I mean? From
Yeah,
the pharaohs and so on and so forth. So, which side are you coming from in terms of this conversation? One to liberate or one to use as a force of oppression? Um, and so I don't subscribe necessarily to the concept of the 1937s, let's create a Zionist nation and call it Israel because we kind of heard it in a word. So let's misinterpret it and then call it what it isn't. I think that's blasphemy. And I think it's unfortunate that young people in the world are being brought up without knowing the truth of themselves and not knowing the truths of the true Hebrews. Um, and so it's causing a struggle today in a place where they think and want to, but have no claim to. And that's just history. Um, but again, it goes to what they call the second wave of the Crusades. So,
I agree. I agree with that. Nice, nice, excellent, excellent. Uh, Grand Miss has a comment said, honestly, I'm shocked that even places left to build anything building wise. True, New York, there's no, there's, it's not getting any bigger, of course, but what they're doing, Grand Miss, is they're building higher up. Like near in my grandmother's area off of Atlantic Avenue, they are building a Death Star building where it's like 17, 18 stories. And like my grandmother's block, the block association fought it because they're like, oh, it's gonna block out the sun and stuff like that. If you're sitting in the backyard, you're just gonna be looking up and there's this big gigantic building and stuff like that. It's crazy, but it's this is the way it's going, brother. This is the way it's going.
yeah, but
But
again, it goes to their ideology. Even in Long Island, while they're profiting from working in this structure, uh,
mhm,
they then go back home and say, no, 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 don't bring that here. It's not something that we want here. And I think that's weird. Like, but you're willing to make money from it, but you don't want, because again, their ideology is uh, who you think you're bringing. We're bringing the world like we brought Brooklyn. Everyone's going
mhm,
to come. But again, it goes. I'm not sure what is their concern, but they should fix their ideology. If they think it's good for Brooklyn and it's good for
mhm.
parts of Queens, then it's good for every part of New York. Um, yeah.
Well, there's always going to be NIMBY. There's always going to be NIMBYism, not in my backyard. They're always going to say that, oh, put it over there, but not here. Okay, they're not. They're making sure of that. All right. Kyrie says it's very good. Thank you, Kyrie. I really appreciate that. Grandma said, even if I had that kind of money, I would have spent it on a small place. I agree. I agree. It's too small. I am not spending $1 million on no one-bedroom apartment. I don't got time for that. Grand Miss says that it would take decades for MTA to improve no matter what. Unfortunately, and those prices will still be raised, never enough funding. It's not. It's not. Remember the MTA. Let's look at the trains. Let's look at our train system in MTA. It's over 100 years old. It would take billions of dollars to upgrade that. And those tracks, even though it's over 100 years old, it's still functional. It's just some parts would need to be changed and stuff like that.
Exactly. So past spending has shown that historically they don't really. This thing is still hot. It's still the old tracks, and I think that's one of the gimmicks. I think that the money is going to go towards raising higher salaries, and then the salaries are going to go disproportionately distributed against locations, race, and culture. And I think that's all it is because improvements. What? It's the same turnstile that they never moved. I like I said, someone has laid the ground. There was some cost applied to that, but even there, it's the disproportionate of why you're not making greater economies outside of Manhattan to be able to affect the economies between Brooklyn and Queens. And why is
True.
that so singular? Right. And again, it goes to the power of the informed politician. Like, stop for a second. Where are your costs? We understand Second Avenue has been a corridor for billions of dollars of spending, but what about the corridor between Brooklyn and Queens? Well, now go
Well,
50-50. And then how do we ensure that we are part of that spending? Where our business is, and then now you get rid of diversity, and now you're still spending that money. Well, that's a problem, like, and so we need a strong voice to ensure that spending is done equitably, because the greater tax base for New York City is still, we're paying a predominantly amount of it, a greater amount of it, when it's all said and done, because they know how to get the write-offs, whereas we don't.
I agree.
So
I definitely agree with that. They need to definitely like have more financial structures in the outer boroughs, and instead of it having Manhattan being like the financial hub. Okay, yes, you have Wall Street and stuff like that, but between 60th Street and the Lower Battery, it's trillions of dollars that flow through that area, and I agree with you with that. They need to have it where more money is going in the other
especially
boroughs.
now that you congestion price people out, and where you're driving them. And but again, that goes to, again, the hindsight for our local government is
Mhm.
do because I've been told to, versus, well, let's plan this out, make sure it's effective, and everyone's getting something from it. If that's your intent to take lower Manhattan, then how do we increase the quality of life or the business corridors elsewhere? Uh,
Yeah.
and so here,
Oh yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Uh, when Kai says build more functional shelters, I definitely agree with that. Not
definitely.
shelters for illegal immigrants, shelters for American people who need it, because there's a lot of
Even there
people who's
though,
on the streets.
I think though, just like I said, I worked in a shelter
Mhm.
for a bit, and the expectation is the education part. You have people coming in, you have a set of standard for their education level. So
Mhm.
again, they're left wanting to speak the local language, wanting to provide business in their local language. I've had some people tell me, I was like, "Do you speak English?" They're like, "No, Wolof." I'm like, "What?" And felt comfortable.
Wow.
Like, "You speak Wolof?" I'm like, "No, bro, you migrated from another country. The standard should be, you should be driving like, how can I learn English? What do you got for me?" Like, you feel comfortable talking about, "I go Wolof." I'm like, "Yo,
Oh yeah.
no disrespect to the
Oh,
people of Wolof or French, but you've come to migrate, and the hunger should be to speak the native language." And I think the
I
standard
agree.
should be set not by them, but by those who are controlling that system. Um, but again, that goes to, if you do that, then you can say, well, learn the math, learn this, and put them in a structure. That's missing. So that's one thing I would change there to the
Okay. 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 So since okay, with congestion pricing and some let me see. Okay. Let me look it up right here. Okay, yeah. So you're right about this, Grand Miss, not including e-bikes and e-scooters all over the road. They It's a lot of craziness when it comes, especially to immigration, because you have more e-bikes and e-scooters being driven by illegal immigrants, people who may not have licenses, people who don't have, and Gramis mentioned it right here, they don't have a driver's license, and it's 1,000 times worse since 2020. I definitely agree with you. You have a lot of issues with people out here who doesn't have the correct paperwork. How are
Well, I
you
think,
going? I want to ask you, how are you going to combat that to make sure that people like that are either off the road, or that they're able to be properly insured, because there's a lot of accidents that's caused by people on e-bikes and stuff like that. So how would you combat that to make sure that that will be able to be in a better situation for New
and
Yorkers?
right, and I think right that's, and I hate to sound um, simple on this one. One, those people did not buy. They can't make an e-bike. They can buy an e-bike. Uh, they
Mm,
can't make a bicycle, they can buy a bicycle. What they're coming for is a source of income to be able to provide for themselves and their families. They're looking for income. So that's the compassion and understanding we should have. They're using what can afford them to be able to sustain themselves. They don't make anything. They're coming in as immigrants. That's the first thing. So yes, we
mm,
have a process where they need to generate income. And it goes back to our shelter or our process of dealing with immigrants of color. What are your needs? What are your concerns? Where can we be helpful? What are your skill levels? We don't know anything. We can have doctors and artisans living in these shelter systems coming in looking for asylum, but our system says lump them all together as one. They're all the same. We don't know how to put engineers with engineers, doctors with doctors, artisans with artisans to be able to afford them transition into a new culture and a new life. So it does create some complexities. I think we can enact better control to be able to get people to where they need to be in life, not just America. They want to be able to have a quality of life, and we can do a better job of affording them that. We can set standards, learn our English, learn our culture, learn our history, so on and so forth. But we can also do a better job of putting our resources in front of them to transition uh, quickly, more effectively, and more efficiently. Um, in terms of them becoming every percentage of people will be deviant, cause problems and issues in terms of licensing, wanting to smoke in public places, doing the wrong thing. Yes, there are going to be those, but they're not the majority. And I think we have to stop lumping the majority or the minority with the majority and saying they're all like this. They're not. They're all trying to get the better job. Sadly, those again, it goes to what do I need to do to be able to afford this high cost of living? Sometimes I can get a job riding a car without a license. Someone's given them that opportunity. You have to stop that person. So look, you've got to send that person to do the right thing without objection. There's a process. You can find those who have stop taking the shortcut, uh, and we have to make those give those resources or afford those resources. They're available. So we make things hard so people have to cut corners. If we make things easier, they don't have to cut corners. But I think that's the relationship between um, those who are in power and those who are trying to come up in an oppressed society. Uh, as have you seen the cost of living today? And so yeah, we're all gonna be doing some things that need to one would consider
I
because
agree with
again,
that. I agree.
cost of living.
I agree. I'm here trying to work 3 jobs now, trying
Yeah.
to trying to afford everything. But I mean, I agree with you with idea of if you have different immigrants with different talents and stuff like that, maybe they should be placed elsewhere. But I know that America has a visa program for if a person is a doctor and they're highly talented. I believe it's the H-1B visa, but it's also another visa that people can apply for. But that can take time. That can take time. But the thing is, if people are applying for asylum, my only issue is that they did not come through the port of entry. If they would have came through a port of entry, then things would have been a little bit different. They came illegally, and then they just said, "Oh well, I'm here now for asylum," which kind of defeats the purpose.
Well,
But I,
but I think
no,
that
I was
goes to
going.
opportunity. They came
Yeah.
using the best means they knew how, given the resources. They said, we're going to come to America, this great land of opportunity. And I think
Mm,
we're filling them by not having designs that say, look, as you're, we can do so much with people who are looking for opportunity. We can build great pyramids. We can harvest great lands. There's so many things that have given the opportunity. But again, our intent and design is, well, we're going to go to China, right? They're coming to us, but we're going to go to China. And so there's a difference in what we can do with resources. They can be doctors, they could be engineers too, but we don't even have the education system that says, you know what, for those who want to come here, let's do the best we can for them. We're looking at it as if it's a negative when it can be a real positive because they can go out and replenish and revitalize their own communities once. And that's what we're doing now, right? We're looking to Ukraine to invest there and send our businesses there. But who are sending us the
mm,
people? Well, we can send back themselves. We can send back their smarter children. We can send back uh, all that can be done here. But again, we are not investing in ourselves, so we want to be able to invest in them. Um, because we don't. Yeah,
I,
so I
I
guess it's
agree.
decided.
I agree. And I do feel that America needs to invest more in its people instead of wanting to invest in outside. But I think that it will be something that it won't happen like
But we're
immediately, but
here.
it was something
Well,
that
that's
we
why
have
we're
to
here.
work on.
I think that's why we're here to try to speak those words to truth. Say, how can you
Yeah.
take a better? I mean, we are exactly the thing that needs to be invested in and invested on. We're the resources we need. You know,
Yeah.
so I agree with you.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Uh Grand Miss says Thomas Jefferson High School. I guess he must have went to Thomas Jefferson High School as well. All right, Grand Miss. Kai says, wonderful brother Cecil. Good. This interview is going great. Nimrod says that he's happy to hear you call them who they are, not Semites, but Europeans. Also, we know there's no Middle East. All right. Then Kai says, Marxist, fascist, Christians, only Europeans. True. Okay. And it says, the worst thing they did was to extend the train for Second Avenue line just 3 measly stops. Look how much money that cost. That cost a lot of money. I was shocked when they did that. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous, brother. MTA has wasted a lot of money on shenanigans that they really didn't need to do. Okay, really didn't need to do. Grandman says to ban electric vehicles entirely. I I feel that it's needed
We
to a
have
point.
electromagnetism, the water motor. What's he got? The water
Yeah.
motor? Let us know,
Mhm.
bro.
Yeah. Oh
Let us
yeah.
know.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
So
bro.
I think, my brother, and I mean it's getting late. Uh we're gonna probably end it soon. But how I look at it, brother, you are your topics, your agendas are very, very good for the city and very, very good for Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights. I feel that one of the main things that we have to focus on is housing
Mm,
and how we are going to be able to not only create more affordable housing, but be able to create sustainable housing. Like Kai said about creating sustainable shelters, we definitely need more housing. I know that they have the voucher, the housing voucher in New York City, okay, called City FEPS, but we're definitely going to need to do something because it's going to get more and more expensive. Food is already crazy. You have eggs being $100 a dozen. So we have to figure out how we're going to help the people, especially some of the people that have come here, even though they came here illegally. If they're willing to work and they're willing to do what they got to do, they will need some help as well. I may not be a person that totally agree with helping them because they came illegally, but they're already here, and I don't want, like, especially if they have children, to turn them away. So that's something that I feel. But I'm
mm.
going to allow you, my good brother Cecil, to have any last words that you would like to tell the audience. This is our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful audience here. I love you guys. You guys are so special to me. Thank you so much for joining and waiting. I know that we had probably a little technical difficulties with Mr. Henry coming on, but he is here now. So let's hear his last, what he has to, his final words, and what you want to leave with. And my brothers and sisters, just before he say anything, well, actually, you know what? Let me let him say his last words, and then I'll say what I have to say. So, Mr. Henry, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Again, to addressing the housing, yes, we understand that the past, but we have to try to get our government officials to look towards new solutions to affect our housing costs. Uh, they historically have not built housing for the masses, but have been controlled by the 1%. That's going to take some political pressure to try to get them to understand how to use the economics going the other way. NYCHA is a good example. How would you not build for the people who are in need, but now you're building for the people who are not even here? But again, we can affect that with a political solution. My final word in terms of aspiration is please, if we choose the button that just says genocide, 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 genocide. That's not democracy. Give choice, please. That's give people like myself an opportunity to stand within the Democratic Party to ensure the Democratic Party's strength. Because right now we have, I would argue that there are more Democrats who are taking money from things like APAC, who are not even writing their own legislation from the days of Aaron. But this is becoming very dangerous currently. And then if we extrapolate to the long term, we're going to look at something very dangerous for our own selves, because it's not something that they care about. And if we can't stand up for injustices everywhere right now, then we won't be able to stand up for it anywhere at any time. So this time, the greatest injustices are going on in the world, Congo, the Middle East, and we have politicians today that are not willing to stand up. And I think that's a problem. That means they're already bought out, they're sold out. We don't need that in any hall. We need strong people, men, women, and the like, to be able to say, we're here to do the right thing for the group and the people, not just to become stewards of, idolizing money, because that we've already seen that's dangerous.
I agree. I agree. Excellent, 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 Mr. Henry. Very, very good. Very, very good topics. Very, very good points that you made. Really, really appreciate you coming on the show, my good brother. This is excellent, excellent. I'm going to pull up some things right here. Grand Miss says a great interview. All right. And Nimrod says, please thank him for actually being able to speak English properly. Yes, that's very important. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Kai says, amazing interview. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, Grimman says again, oh, Nitro has enough problems as it is. The federal issue isn't helping. I agree with that as well.
We want equity for all of it.
I didn't hear what you said, brother. Say it again.
We want equity for all of it. I think that's a solution. We can't, you have to know what you've invested in, what you've owned before. They've given it so much, they've given all our assets away, and we have got no value back. I think, we can get to that point of intelligence and knowing our budget to that extent. Never a day should we lose anything that we've invested in or paid for without a value of it. They can't keep stealing and give it to their friends. No, that's got to stop.
Yes, I agree, and that's what goes on. It's like a lot of shenanigans, a lot of backroom deals that they say, oh, okay, we'll give you this, and the people, especially the people of New York City, are not benefiting. But I definitely agree with you, my good brother. This has been a wonderful, wonderful interview. Thank you so much for joining me, my brother. I have to salute you. Really, really appreciate you. Thank you for your service and everything. Really, really appreciate that. My brothers and sisters, please, if you know anyone that lives in Bed-Stuy or Crown Heights, if you see Mr. Henry out there right now, he's trying to get himself on the ballot. He needs at least 900 signatures to be able to get on the ballot, and so that they can make debates. We do not, I am a person that feels that even the incumbent should have an opponent, because that's what keeps them on their toes. So having Mr. Cecil on the ballot will be able to better afford Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights the opportunity of choices and the options to be able to hear different things and different candidates, so that they can be able to show that they are able to help not only Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, but New York City as a whole. And if he has other aspirations for, let's say, federal government, he can be able to help the country. He has served this country very well. He has shown that he is able to work in different sectors, private sector and public sector. And this man needs to be able to be on the ballot, so that he can be able to have the opportunity to showcase what he can actually do. So, my brothers and sisters, thank you so much.
Website too. If you can go to Cecil Henry for citycouncil.com. Again, that's Cecil Henry for citycouncil.com.
I will put it. I'm gonna put it in the chat real quick. Let me do that real quick, so that you guys have his website, and I will put it up in the. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to put it. I'm gonna post it in the chat real quick, guys. That is his website, and I will post it. Let me just make a quick banner so you guys will see it. This is his website right here, CecilHenry for Guys, please check out his website. He's a great brother, great interview. His platform, in my opinion, will do well for the city of New York, not only for Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, but for the city of New York. Guys, if you have any friends or family members that live in Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, please, if you see him out there, please sign his petition so he can be on the ballot. I want to see and hear more debates. I'm tired of seeing politicians run and they do not have anybody running against them. That is not good. That is not good. This is America, and the political system needs to have more fair and balanced people. In my opinion, the Democratic Party has somewhat lost its way. It's more of a radical party, even though as an independent, I am more of, I would say, I tend to vote more Democrat because I live in New York City, and I mean, pretty much that's who is on the ballot. So obviously, I will vote for the Democratic candidate in my area, but I want to know exactly what will be done. And in my opinion, Mr. Cecil Henry would be very good for Bed-Stuy, and his platform is something that I look forward to hearing more about, and I look forward to seeing debates. Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
No problem, my good brother. Once again, I will salute you once again. Thank you so much, my good brother. You have a wonderful night, and you can take care. All right, we'll keep in touch.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night. Well, guys, how did you feel about this interview here? I know that it started a little bit late, but better late than never. So how do you guys feel about him? How do you guys feel about his platform, some of the things that he talked about? I would greatly like to hear from you. I felt that he was very, very good, and I like a lot of his ideas. I hope that he can actually, if he gets in office, he can actually implement some of them. But with the city councilmen, council members, I believe it's 51 council members, you have to work with all of them. And some things you got to be kind of careful when it comes down to politics. But he spoke his mind and he spoke his truth. What do you guys think about it? See, okay. Excellent. Good. Kai was going to ask about his website. Good. I gave to you. Grand Miss was happy. Yes, good. Grand Miss, is good to hear that you went to Thomas Jefferson High School. I had a friend who went to Thomas Jefferson High School as well. I went to Automotive High, and I really wish we had a football team, but it's there. Kai, you loved it. Excellent. Grand Miss, it was great. Excellent. I am happy that he came on. I'm very, very happy he came on. He's an educated brother. He has a degree in political science and a degree in finance. He has experience working in Wall Street or on Wall Street. Very, very good. Business owner and stuff like that. So he can take his education he can use his education to better serve the people of not only Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, but the people of New York City. I really think that was, yes, Brother Nimrod, it was a great interview. I really appreciate it. Well, my brothers and sisters, it is 10:31, and I am going to go and call my daughter like I always do. And I hope that wait. It's rare to hear an up and close interview with an upcoming representative. Yeah, it is rare. It is rare. And that's why I was so happy to be able to have him on. I felt that it's good to for you guys to be able to feel that, because we don't really get that. A lot of people in the news, they would say, well, hey, look, you know what? If it's not like national and stuff like that, they really don't want to talk about it. But you guys heard it here. And so if Brother Henry, if he wins as city councilman of Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, you heard him here first, guys. He did his first interview with me, and I'm so thankful that he did the interview. Very, very good. Yes, yeah, no problem, Grandmas, no problem, no problem. Yes, your daughter's requests are going to be more expensive. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She is. You know what? I was saying to myself, please, please, please. I hope that it can be. I hope she can just stay simple, but the way she wants. Oh God! And you put it up there. She wants Toca Boca. Tomorrow's going to be a Tesla, and it's funny because it's funny because her mom and her grandmother. Well, her grandmother doesn't have a BMW anymore, but her mom has a BMW, and she was like, "Oh, Daddy, when I grow up, I want to have a BMW." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, come on, man! You trying to break my pockets already?" So, oh, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But I love her, and I will do my best for her. Yeah, stay away from buying eggs. Listen, yeah, I ain't paying $20 for a dozen. I'll pay $20 for 5 dozen, but not no dang on dozen for $20. You gotta be kidding me. And grapes being $9 a pound, Kai, you gotta stay away from that. The most I'll pay is like $3 a pound. I'm not paying no $9 a pound. You must be out of your mind. That's Jamaica prices. You crazy? Mm-mm. Oh yeah. This day I want a phone call too. I hear that. I hear that. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for waiting for Mr. Henry to come on. Thank you, Mr. Henry. Once again, I'm going to salute you, my good brother. You are a veteran. Thank you for your service. Really appreciate you. And I wish you good luck for all your endeavors. And I hope that you get to where you want to be, especially if you are running for city councilman. I hope that you get there, and I wish you the success. Really, really appreciate you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining. Thank you for joining and liking the video. Really appreciate you guys. This interview was great. I had a lot of fun, and I enjoyed the answers that he gave to our questions, to my questions, and to your questions as well. Really appreciate that. He was put on the fire and he did not back down. That's what we need as politicians. We need politicians who are willing to not only answer the tough questions, but willing to answer the easy ones as well. So I'm very, very happy for that. Thank you, guys. All right. Yes. This stream has been brought to you by Eat Cheaper Foods. Yes. I would say probably eat more vegetables because things are getting crazy. Meat as well is getting more and more expensive, so you guys got to be crazy. Yes, Grandmiss, save your money. Save your money. Yes, guy. Yes, Grandmiss is funny. Yes. Layatov to everyone. Excellent. But Nimrod, yes. Appreciate everyone. Please be safe out there. I really love you. I don't want to hear anything happen to you guys. Save your money, like Grandma said. Stay away from buying expensive foods right now. At the moment in time, it's not worth it. Unless you really want it and you got it like that, you can buy it. But try to save more of your money and invest so that you can have a better tomorrow instead of a better today. My brothers and sisters, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you, everyone joining. Thank you. Please don't forget to like. You already made comments. I really appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, share my videos, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for any videos that I drop. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Peace.